Hello everyone. I hope you're having a fabulous day today. I'm going to be talking to you today about some observations that I've noticed in my orchid collection with my water culture method. When I first started the water culture method, I listed down all the do's and I did all those, and then I listed down the don'ts and I didn't do the don'ts. And I kind of thought that the rules were rules. But I tend to question rules, especially if I don't think they're going to work for me or if I think I can do it better. So I started doing some research on my orchids. I asked the question, which ones of my water culture phals are doing the best and why? At first I thought it might be the age of the plant or the location of the window that it was growing in, but that wasn't it. And then I noticed this webbing on and around the roots of the orchids that were really thriving, and the fluffy white material that was on the roots. It was microfilament and good bacteria. I started remembering back to my microbiology course from college about symbiotic organisms. It's like gut flora that lives in your gut so that you can digest your food. So it's not what I would call the most pretty thing in the world, but it looks like a spider web. And the algae on the glass, I started thinking about that too. I was wondering, could that be an important factor in the growing process as well? So I started also thinking about hydrogen peroxide. Okay, hydrogen peroxide was something that everyone was using. I thought that was another rule, and so I did what I was told. So one day I was using some sterilized scissors to cut a rotten root, and I thought, why do I have to spray the roots down with hydrogen peroxide? Wouldn't that kill off the good bacteria too? So I talked to my husband. He is a very, very smart man. He is a physician as well as a painter, as you all well know. And we talked about good bacteria and algae. And I was wondering, was I right about my hunch that this algae and mold and these microfilaments, were they not only beneficial, but were they crucial to the health of the orchid? So I allowed algae to grow all over one of my vases just to see what would happen. That orchid was doing very well. There was lots of algae growing in the vase. So I cleaned the vase completely, squeaky clean. The beautiful green roots that were in the algae, all those roots growing in the water turned brown and they rotted a few months later. So in conclusion, here is my new routine. I'm not going to be changing out my water totally. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reserving the water back in another container for my full water culture orchids. They like a dry out day once a week, and if they need fertilizing, that's also the day that I fertilize. So I'm going to hold that water back for them. Then I'm going to add it back at the end of that day and top off the water level with fresh water. If the water is really, really dirty, which I don't think it's going to be, I'll still reserve part of that water and add fresh water to it. I'm not going to be cutting roots more than one time either. I have noticed that if you start cutting on a root and it's not at a joint that it can naturally die back to, it is going to go back to the base of the plant. It will rot on you eventually. So that's going to save me a lot of time. The other thing I'm not going to do is I'm not removing algae from the bottom of my vase or the containers anymore. I learned my lesson with that one. The other thing I won't be doing is I won't be using hydrogen peroxide anymore. I learned that hydrogen peroxide oxidizes things. It kills off beneficial bacteria. It is a chemically reactive substance. So that means that overuse can burn roots just like too much fertilizer can. So this is my observation experience with my orchids, and as you all know, we're all learning about the water culture method, and I just wanted to share with you my research, and I hope that it helps you to discern what to do with your plants in the future. I will keep you updated on anything that I change because I want you to be able to grow beautiful orchids as well. That is my desire. So I hope you all have a fabulous day and be highly favored, deeply loved, and greatly blessed. And we'll talk to you next time.